Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki and this is Nikki's Divine Notions. I created this channel because I am on a spiritual awakening, and this is my platform that I have been called to create in order to share my experience with those who are also going through a spiritual awakening. There is a large collective right now of people that are going through this spiritual awakening. And if you're being directed here or called here to any of my content, then the chances are you are too. You are part of that collective. And the reason that this is happening is that, as you can see, if you look around, there's a lot of negativity and a lot of bad things going on. And it's about time that things shift and that we wake up, or things could just get worse and worse and worse. So there is a planned collective awakening that is happening. So I am somebody who is trying to help those who are at the beginning of that awakening. Just trying to share my experience to help the collective that are beginning with their experience. So this video is where I am called to share my experience. This is like the beginning for me, all the way up until now, because it's important to know that you don't have to start out with a spiritual background at all, or have this type of upbringing or anything like that. It is something that we were born into, we signed up for when we came into this incarnation. So I'm sorry, there's going to be lots of noises going on right now. If I wait for complete privacy and quiet, I will never get any videos done. So my son is in his room playing his video games. I got the street out front. I have a farm in back of me. So please, if you hear all kinds of crowing and chicks and a little one kind of carrying on, that's my kid. Anywho, so let me get started. So first of all, I did not come from a spiritual background, but I have a very distinct spiritual purpose here as a healer and as a teacher and as a leader. So this is the beginning of that path for me. I started out with parents who were not religious. They believed in something higher, but they were not very interested in religion or trying to figure out what that was. So I was not brought up with that. Now, as a child, I do remember in my room hearing things, people moving around, things moving around. I believe I was talked to by spirit, and it was terrifying for me. And it stopped. Eventually it stopped. And then as a teenager, it kind of started again. And that was really, really terrifying. I would be sleeping in my bed at night, and I would feel hands on my feet. And it was a feeling that when they touched my feet, the feeling came all the way up my body, and I almost felt paralyzed. So I perceived it as very scary and negative. I thought that I had brought a negative energy home with me, and it was haunting me. So I asked it, stop, 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 stop. You do not have permission to touch me. You do not have permission. I automatically just started, after it happened so many times, I got really fed up and I was done being scared. So I just told them, you do not have permission to touch me. You do not have permission to be in my house. Go away. And it stopped. It did. And when I moved in here, it started again when I met my husband and I moved into this house. And it was one of them things where I just couldn't believe it was happening again. And so I again was terrified, told it to stop. You do not have permission to touch me. You must leave my house. And it did. It stopped. But taking notes here. Let's see. I told them to stop, and they did. So at that point, I mean, I had a pretty good life living in the 3D. I was pretty successful. I, I had a good job. I had lots of friends. I had a husband. I had a great family. And then I wanted to start a family as far as become a mother. Well, that was not as easy as everything else that happened in my life. I really struggled to become a mom. It was hard. But I did. I finally got pregnant, and having him is when everything shifted for me. I ended up with a strong case of what I thought was postpartum after I had him. I didn't want to go back to work. And if I had never left that job, I never would have had this awakening, because I loved my job. I was very good at it. It was very important. And I had a large community, people that loved and respected me. I never would have left that had everything changed for me when I had my son. So I had this huge amount of anxiety after I gave birth to him. And fortunately, the company that I worked for was going through a huge layoff, and I asked to be on it, and they gave me a huge severance. I got Cobra insurance. I mean, it was like my prayers had been answered. I didn't want to go back to work. I was terrified to leave him. So everything fell in place. So I thought, after that, my life just changed. It was unrecognizable. My job had changed. I was staying at home with my son. And this was literally the beginning of the awakening that I did not realize. Because the beginning of the awakening is the stripping away of everything that you know yourself to be. Because if you don't, then you'll never change course. You'll never ever ask, what else is out there? Is there something meant for me? Is there more meant for me? So it took a long time for me to figure that out. Like, my son was probably 4 years old before I became stable within myself again. I was so unrecognizable to myself and depressed. I lost my friends. I had fallouts with friends, which I'd never had before. I had friends that were very close to me that moved away. I was very alone. All of a sudden, I mean, I had my husband, but even then I had pushed him away because I was so lost inside myself. I didn't know, he could feel it. So, I mean, after 3 or 4 years of that, I mean, I was suicidal, and that's where I hit rock bottom, and that's where I started to ask the question, like, what is going on with me? Because I love myself. I don't want to die. I don't want to kill myself. I want to be something that my son is proud of. I want my husband to be proud of me. I want my mother to be proud of me, my family, everybody. I wanted all that back. But it still took, he's 11 now, okay? And it is now, today is January, is it the 13th? Oh yes, it's the full moon. January 13th, 2025. And it wasn't until last May that I found the movie The Secret. And that's where the awakening really started to pick up pace. I still didn't realize what was going on, but I realized that I had more power than I thought. That I started to realize there might be a matrix, that I don't have to play that game. Like, it started to click. And then I found Neville Goddard. I found Abraham Hicks. And then I found God. I found my higher self. I found my spirit guide team. I found my guardian angels. I found everybody out there, that this huge team that was on my side, that I didn't even know was there. But now that I know they're there, everything has changed. And I mean, I hope that you will continue on your path of asking, what else is there for me? I hope that you will keep coming to my channel. And because I plan on, after this video, I plan on making a video of the 12 steps of the spiritual awakening. And that's huge because that will help the collective. I'm going to do the videos about the steps and how I went through them myself and all the things that I went through. And that is really, I had nobody. I had nobody in a spiritual awakening experience that has even done that in the past that I could go and talk to. Like, I was all on my own. And that was truly what was meant for me, because I'm meant to be a teacher. I was meant to suffer so that I can teach others so they don't suffer. I had no finances to get help, to pay for spiritual advice. I had nothing. I found YouTube, and my source energy put videos in front of me at the moment that I needed them. And if you're at the beginning of your spiritual awakening, it is real. If you open up YouTube and you see a particular tarot reader or a video that talks about something particular, it's going to resonate with you. There's a reason why that video is there. You need to click on it, and you need to just kind of patiently sit and watch it. There's a message for you in it. And it might be in the very first 2 minutes, and you might not need to watch the rest of the video. I tend to watch them, and I've learned how to listen to my higher source, and when I'm meant to move on from something, when I've caught the message I'm supposed to catch, so I don't waste as much time on, and then you get confused because you're like, is that for me? That doesn't make sense. But YouTube is a huge place for all of us to go for information and to share information and to come together as a collective community so that we can help each other get to that awakening point that we're supposed to be at. Because for me, it's been 11 years. We don't all have that much time, right? We don't have that much time. So that is why people like me, there's others out there that are doing channels that are called to do the same thing, that are making videos that are your source energy, or the collective source energy will direct you to those videos at the time that you're ready for them. So hopefully you will be directed to the rest of my videos, because I really feel like that is what I was meant to do. I'm meant to help the collective speed up their awakening so that we can come together and start doing better for this earth and humanity. And I mean, I've come a long way, and I'm just so happy. It is hard. It is very hard going through a spiritual awakening. You question everything. You have to dive into yourself and get rid of all of that programming. We are all programmed from the very beginning. My parents were programmed, right, to think that our educational system is imperative to us as successful adults. I don't know how you feel about that, but in my opinion, the current educational system is just something put in place, and we're just programmed to believe that's what we need in order to be successful adults. I believe we all need to know how to read. I believe we all need math, but I think we all need other important skills that you don't learn in school. And there's a reason for that. But as a collective, we are all coming together and going to make things better. There is a new earth coming, and if you're being directed to these types of content, then you are part of this awakening and you are meant to be here and you are deeply, deeply loved. Just as I am, just as everybody here is actually loved. We only suffer out of perspective. For me, as for instance, I have suffered for the last 11 years as my life has crumbled away into something that I don't recognize because my perception was I wanted things to be a certain way. So anything other than that was failure. What my family was thinking was failure because of their programming, and I was listening to that, and all of that is the programming that we need to wash away, and the suffering is perspective, because truly I was supposed to learn. So now I can look at these lessons that are coming at me with perspective that somebody's going to have to learn this lesson too. So I'm going to figure out what it is I'm supposed to learn here so that I can share it. It's not a painful thing when you look at it from that perspective. I am meant to learn this because I am a teacher and there's somebody out there that I need to learn this for and share the information with so that they don't have to suffer like I do. Or, I'm not suffering. But you understand my point. That is what it all comes down to. So it's starting to get noisy all around me. That's my signal that I've put the information in this video that was meant to be in this video. So again, I am going to start a series that walks through the 12 steps of the spiritual awakening, and I will go through how I went through it and the heartaches and the suffering that I went through that hopefully I can save you from. So please subscribe, take a chance, subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so that you don't miss out on any of the content that is coming out, because it is for your highest good. You don't want to miss it. We don't want you to suffer. You're not intended to suffer. So follow along, learn what you're supposed to learn so that you can have this beautiful life in the new earth. Thank you.